Thank God it's call it a day. Something strong came before. It's all that happens for you, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Lunch break is gone. Take all after night. Borrow more. I know that he'll pay. But that's all right. I ain't had a day off now in over a year. I've been making vacations, gonna start right here. If it falls from me, you can tell them I just sailed away. And pour me something tall and strong. Make it came before sing. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I can tell, put myself in a cab and be back to work before 2. At a moment like this, I can't help but wonder, what would Jimmy Buffett do? Funny you should ask, Downey. I'd say, oh, me something tall and strong, make it a cane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. Something tall and strong, get a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. You don't care. I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. What time zone am I on? What country am I in? It doesn't matter. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's always on 5 in Margaritaville, come to think of it. I heard that. Been there, have you? Yes, sir. I see your boat there. I've been to Margaritaville once. All right, that's fair. Stumble all the way back. Okay, so make sure you can keep it between the navigational beacons. We're in the buoys, I know. All right, well, it's 5 o'clock. Let's go somewhere. I'm ready. Hang it up. Let's get out of here. Gone. Nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. All of it's too rich, covered with strumming my 6 string on my front porch swing. Smell of shrimp there again. Oh, wasted away. Searching for a shaker song. Some people know nobody's fault. Don't know please. Stayed here all season. Nothing to show but this brand new tattoo. But it's a real beauty. I'm Mexican cute. I got here, I have blue. Stand away. Searching for a share song. Some people think Ellie.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
I see some familiar faces. Michelle, nice to see you. Jenny, I've seen you before, and of course, Miss Vicky. Oh, Raphael's here. My Chicago buddies are here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Johnny Downey. I'm one of the corporate mentors. I've been with Cornerstone since November, right as the influx of agents happened. Since November, we've had over 1,000 agents join us, and there's been a huge growth in Cornerstone. As you know, Cornerstone is a family-owned business, and I treat it as such. I treat everybody like they're part of my family, and I'm here to help you guys. With that said, this is the Tuesday evening question and answer session. This session is yours to ask questions. I'm here just to facilitate and try to answer your questions for you. We can go over anything from, business modeling to how to book something, general questions. Just throw them out there. So I am from the Chicago area, as you may have thought, or as I stated there. I'm a firefighter by day, travel agent by night. Is what I like to tell people. And so, um, who wants to ask the first question?
I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
So I'm booking a trip for a client through RoomRes. It's for an all-inclusive property, and it's a fairly low rate for two occupants. Like it's $1,300 for two occupants. And I got a travel insurance quote through, sorry, I don't even know how to say this name, the Allianz. And
It's Allianz. Yeah.
Allianz, okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to check on that. Is that per person or is that like total for the trip? Because there's two occupants on the room.
If it's showing two occupants, then it's probably for the two occupants.
Okay. Yeah, because the actual like Allianz site didn't ask how many occupants, it just asked the total of the trip. And it said, I think the option was like $5,000 or under that I chose.
Are you going through the TA portal for Allianz?
I think so. Did I go to the wrong place?
No, it's just weird that you're saying $5,000 and under.
Let me look
Because
real
you,
quick. Yeah, I feel like
because you,
that didn't even ask me like the number of occupants. Oh no, sorry. It did ask me the number of occupants.
yeah, so it's going to ask you how many people need to be insured and what's the trip total.
Okay,
Sometimes
yes, that's what the
I
trip
think,
total is.
yeah, sometimes with I know Chubb ask you to break it down the total per person. So
Okay,
Allianz, in my opinion, is a little easier with that because it just asks for the trip total and then it breaks it down, you know. But you, you should just, if it's $1,300, you just put $1,300 and then it should just spit out what your insurance cost will be.
okay. Maybe I'm misremembering. I'll go back and make sure. For some reason, I was thinking it said like the amount of trip, and you chose by like increments of like 1 to 5,000, 5 to 10,000. But maybe I'm thinking something different. So
No,
I'll look back at that again.
it asks for the number and you can put
Okay,
down the number down to the cents. I
okay,
mean, I can't say it doesn't do cents. It just rounds it up, but
yeah, okay. And then if they book their flights on their own, and I include that in that total, does that still cover
I,
those?
yes.
Okay.
You'll just have to
Um,
put the Allianz asks for the suppliers, so you'd have to put whatever airline they're in, and then if there are flights attached, you put in the flight numbers as well, so they're aware of what those are.
okay, perfect. If they book the flights like further in advance than they, or sorry, not further in advance, if they book the hotel now, but then don't book the flights until later, I assume I would need to do two separate, because don't you have to book within 7 days of,
So so you need to get your insurance within 14 days to have pre-existing conditions covered. That's the
gotcha. Okay.
caveat with that. You can later on go and adjust the final price and then just pay the difference of whatever the what's it called? Whatever the insurance cost would be.
The premium. Okay.
Right, the premium.
Um, okay, perfect. And then last question, it does ask their state of residence, but these clients actually live in different states. One's in Georgia and one is in Indiana, which is why I didn't uh, do their flights for them, is because it just got messy with trying to do it that way. And I wanted to just make sure she would still be covered, or is that something I should reach out to them for?
I would reach out to them just to
Okay.
ask. Because in my past I've only booked people that all live in the same household or the same state together.
Okay. Yeah, these are friends that live in two different states, so um, I'll reach out to them to confirm. Um, Last question, I think. I noticed that on RoomRes for this specific property, it was saying that there could be a value added tax charge of 19% at check-in. And I reached out to RoomRes about it, and I know that it says if they have like if they provide like a passport um, and a payment method from, I think it's in a different country, then it's possible that they could not have to pay that, but there's nothing like concrete. And I just want to make sure that's not something that they would be charged to check in. I did reach out to, it's a Hyatt property, it's Dreams. So I did reach out to Hyatt directly, and they said that the charges that they show on their website, like everything's included, but I'm not booking through the Hyatt website. So I didn't know if you knew anything about that or
It's
how I could
if you
send
contacted
them.
Hyatt, it's probably gonna be the same.
Okay.
There might just be like a disclaimer that RoomRes puts on there just in case. Um, you contacted RoomRes and they
I did. And she basically just quoted exactly what the webpage said. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not, I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out, for this specific room
well,
and customer.
and Hyatt should be able to see your reservation and be able to tell you for sure.
Okay. Once it's booked.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So there's a couple questions in chat. Ronnie asked, when I put a booking in for a hotel and test, should I put the final payment date or leave it blank? That's really up to you. That's for a reminder for you generally. Um, I usually put in the final date so that I know what it's supposed to be. And then Jenny asked, I tried to get Allianz insurance for our travels this year, and it kept telling me to wait 60 days prior. Does that seem right? Um, if you're trying to get an annual plan, that seems like that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Um, I thought you needed to purchase ASAP. Yeah, if you're doing individual trips, yeah, you want to try and get insurance within 14 days of deposit so that your pre-existing conditions, if you have any, are covered. Um, but from what you're saying there, that sounds like that's for an annual plan.
Yeah, that's true. It's an annual plan.
Okay. All right. Who else is out there? Hi, Patricia. All right, folks, this is your time to shine.
Hello, Johnny. Good to see you again.
You too. So Kim's asking, are trainings offered on each supplier's website? Yes, they are. Each supplier has their own training that you should go through. And then Cornerstone sometimes offers specific training. Like tonight, we have the Wave Makers for Price Agencies, which I'm hosting with Monica, our BDM. So that's at 7. Um, those are good trainings to get into. I have no idea what she's going to be going over tonight. We do have the Wave Makers training going on, so we try to fit whatever supplier we're working with for that quarter for Wave Makers and have the BDMs come in and do special presentations just for Cornerstone.
So like if, and I'm just making this up, Royal Caribbean, like you would go to their website and then somewhere there's a tab for trainings, like, our portal, like via.
Yeah, in Cruising Power, yeah, there's a whole training session. Royal's actually probably one of the most comprehensive trainings you'll do.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Like I said, if you go to each suppliers, right, like Princess, Royal, Carnival, if it's on their website, that's what I just was confused about.
Yep. So here's the thing, like you can book your travel right away, but in order to take advantage of some of the discounts that they may offer TAs, you have to complete their training. And I would always complete their training anyways, just so you're very familiar with the product.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to, but like I said, I just wasn't sure where to find it all. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you need to go into the supplier websites and play around. You'll find it. Each supplier is different as to where their training's at.
Johnny, I have a question for you.
Hey Raphael, how are you, bud?
Not bad, and you? Uh, I know
Oh,
you're just coming back from a good trip, so I know
I know.
I know
I'm
you're.
I'm I'm missing it. I just got back from Europe last week, 2-week trip to Europe, and it's been tough adjusting back to the real world.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, let me just ask a quick question on Allianz since we're still in the mind. Is there a trick to get the annual plan for us to quote?
No, why? What?
I'm an agent max, and I don't. It seems like getting quotes are for one trip only. I'm just trying to figure out how can I get one for a whole year.
You just here. That's a good segue. Yeah, I'll get in there and show you guys. For those of you who don't know, I actually did a webinar on Allianz back in April. Okay. Give me a second because I'm trying to remember how I did this or how to do the annual plan. I'm a little rusty after being gone.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it wasn't straightforward.
No. I know I've quoted it before. I know Chubb makes it a little easier. So let's go back to home.
And I was
Oh, I know.
I
I
was
know what
gonna
it does.
quote one for myself. That's why I was very curious.
No,
And I saw Chubb is making it easier, but Allianz was a little tougher.
I remember now. So you have to go through all this and then put random numbers in here. Okay, once you put all this in, you're gonna have to scroll down to the annual plan. So it's gonna give you all the plan options. So the classic plan, like if really I was gonna be gone for a year, it's $3,666. Or I can just come down here to annual plan and choose. Now, here's the thing with annual plans. Annual plans is a max they will pay out for the year. So let's say you get a $5,000 annual plan, but you have a trip that's say $10,000. You're going to want to supplement that with a $5,000 trip plan versus the annual plan, just so you know you're covered. But if most of your trips throughout the year are under $5,000, then you're covered by the $715. Does that make sense to everybody? And does this make sense to you, Raphael?
So the way I figured is if I have to invoke payout for whatever reason, say something did happen, and I have the rest of the year to go, I most likely have to supplement another plan if I want the coverage for that for another 5,000, let's say.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
That's what you will have to
Okay.
do, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the coverages are still there, but if you start eating from it, that doesn't mean it resets. It just means that you might not have more
No.
coverage. Okay,
Because it's the max coverage for the year.
gotcha. So if I'm doing this for myself and I want it for from the fall to next year fall, I would just put in dates and then decide how much trip cost coverage I want.
Right, but it might not, as we pointed out, it may not let you get insurance until like 60 days before whatever your
On
fall
an
date
annual
will
plan.
be.
Okay, okay,
All right,
you got it.
cool. All right, what other questions are out there?
Hello, Johnny.
Hi, Vicky.
You enjoyed your trip?
Oh, tremendously. It was amazing.
Yes, sir. I have a question. Well, okay, I emailed for a name change for my personalized website, and I emailed test for the username to change my username. But the problem I had was when I clicked on the picture and sent the message, it's from my default email. Do I need to go back to that same email that I sent to them and let them know that that's not the email that it's sent from to go to? Am I making sense?
Yes, I would just to make sure there's no confusion.
Okay.
Hi, Crystal. Welcome.
Hey there.
All right, who's next?
All right, I'll have another question for you.
Okay.
Where are you getting are you getting errors and omissions coverage for yourself?
I am not.
Okay. Do you know where most people are getting it from? I just need a vendor I want to work with.
Trying to remember like some of the trainings. You know what? If you just do a Google search, a bunch of ones should pop up.
Okay.
I don't feel like my business is that big that I need to get it yet.
Sorry, I missed that. What kind of insurance did he ask?
Errors and omissions.
Gotcha. Okay. I was actually curious of that also. I feel like whenever I signed up, I read something that said that Cornerstone has a policy or has like a certain amount for us.
Yes, Cornerstone does cover you. If you need to know exactly what is covered, I would email corporate because I don't know. I just know if there's you know they have an umbrella policy that covers all the agents.
Thank you.
But with that said, make sure that you're using the Cornerstone logo on your websites and and correspondence. Like my email signature has the logo in it, even though I have a completely different name for my business.
Speaking of the logo, so on my business cards, I have on the back the logo and then the numbers for the Florida and for California. Can the font be different, or does the font have to be the way it is on like the Cornerstone's website?
No, you can make, as long as the logo stays the same,
Yes.
the way you do the numbers, it doesn't matter, just as long as they're there.
Oh, okay. And another quick question. I was like for tests, obviously they pay us for the certain we don't have to pay for the basic package of tests, but does anybody pay for the higher package? Like the advanced version?
So there are agents that do. I use a different CRM called Turn
You
Travel.
can.
Yes.
Okay.
So I use Turn Travel. There's people that use Travify. There's people that use Travel Joy.
Mm-hmm.
I the only reason I use Test is to go in and put my booking so that I get paid. But
Okay.
other than that, I don't really use it. That's my personal preference. I like what else is offered out there. Um, the upgraded version of Test there, you can do a little bit more with it, but I just fell in love. Turn was the first one I tried, and I just fell in love with it, so I stuck with it.
That's the TERN, right? You're saying?
Yes.
Okay, as I saw that one as I was
And
messing around the other day.
most of those do a 14-day trial. I know with Travel Leaders Network, I think it's Travel, I can't remember for sure, but I think it's Travify. They do give a discount.
Okay.
But
Because
each
they
one,
do
like,
invoices
yes.
and quotes and stuff, and you can email it right to the customer, correct?
Yeah,
Your
here
client?
I'll show you guys since we're on this subject.
By the way,
'Cause
Johnny, thanks for the referral. Turn is turning out to be awesome.
you're welcome. So this is what it looks like. This is the dashboard. So over here on the left-hand side, I have the trips that I've proposed, trips that are currently being planned or filling up. Like a couple of these are groups. My next customer is going on all-inclusive here in July, so that's coming up. Have a couple cruises coming up, and I'm gonna go into my itinerary and show you kind of what it looks like. Um, because I filled this out for me. Like I said, we had gone to Europe. So this is um, your itinerary, and you just plug and play this information in here. We had gone on a Mediterranean cruise. Um, that's down here, and I just went to this cruise library, slid it over here. You put in what cruise you're going into, and then it populates all the dates. So as you see that down here, we went to Salerno, Messina, Santorini. That automatically populates when you throw a cruise in there. Also, when you put your flights, we had ended up having a 6 hour flight delay. You could see it automatically updated. So it automatically updates your flight information as well. When you send this to a client, this is what it's going to look like. I'm moving some stuff around here. So give me a second. So this is kind of what the proposal is going to look like. We stayed in an apartment, so that's a picture of the apartment I threw in there. We did a golf cart tour. We went to the Coliseum, and you put all this in here so the client sees all this stuff. Now, this was our room, so I can click on this. It's going to should automatically show pictures of what the rooms look like and give a description of the rooms. When I go back and look at the ship, It's got 58 pictures of the ship, deck plans, talks about the food and the entertainment, all that stuff. But most importantly, when you come up here, you can look at a daily overview. You can throw documents, like all my documents and tickets I threw in here in a PDF form. There is an app that they can access that through. And then, like I said, this is the most important thing. They can come up here and authorize payments. So they would come up here and say, I put in a cruise trip. It would say, cruise trip, pay your deposit. Say it's a $600 deposit. I would come in here, and if I had other things, let's say I skipped that item. We did get a photographer in Athens. This is actually paid for, or I had already paid for it. I just didn't update it in this. I can come in here. I'm gonna authorize the travel agent to make a payment for me, and then I would add the card information here. I can't do that right now because I'm in preview mode. The travel agent can't actually do this, but the client can. They would put their credit card information in here, authorize payment. I do have terms and conditions in here, so if I clicked on this, it would pull up all my terms and conditions so they can see. It's a huge list here.
And that you supplied your own terms and conditions, or that something that they have on this from Turn?
It's something that I put together based on
Okay,
research of other travel agencies and agents that I've seen. I basically looked over several terms and conditions of other travel agencies and stuff. Travel Leaders Network, if you go through Wavemakers, there is a section in the training where they go over legal. So based on some of the stuff that the lawyer in the video stated, I looked for some terms and conditions that were already out there, and then I made them my own and
okay.
added some stuff. So and then this will give you authorization for 30 days. When that happens, you can come back here and let me show you one that that I made a payment on today. This is the wrong trip. Hold on a second. These are my parents, so I'm comfortable showing you this. So you see here, they made a payment today. It says authorized.
Yes.
When I click on that, and I come down here, I would click on here where it says view card details. It's going to pop up. I'm not going to do it just for security reasons.
Oh, of course.
It pops up. It gives you the credit card information along with their address. It goes away after like 30 seconds. So if you don't input the information, it goes away just again for security, and you have to come back in here and click on that. But this authorization is good for 30 days, and then it disappears. So if they haven't made a payment in 30 days, that credit card information disappears. So it's not there, and so that you don't have it all the time. So basically, there's a lot you can do. You can build activities, send emails, a lot of stuff through that. Now, all the platforms, the CRM platforms are very similar. You just have to figure out what you like the best and what works for you. What I like about Turn is the company is constantly upgrading stuff. They actually have a list of, you can actually go on a website that they provide, put in something that you would like to see in there, and then people have a chance to upvote it. And the suggestions that get upvoted the most, the company actually implements. So they are constantly upgrading the system. Like I said, it's a little bit more than the other ones, but the research and development and the stuff they put in there, it's just been incredible. If you guys want a referral link, I'd be happy to provide that. Just shoot me a message in chat. And
That's
again, you
paid.
get,
Oh, go ahead.
and again, you get like a 14-day trial.
And it's, you can pay annually or do you have to pay monthly?
You can play annually.
And if we use your referral, do we get discounts and so do you?
I believe there's, Raphael, do you remember?
Yes, it's
What-
20 for you and 20 for me, when it was,
Nice.
so.
Oh, yeah,
$20
that changed.
one time.
Yeah.
Hey,
So it says when you invite someone and they sign up, they will receive a 14-day trial and a $20 discount on their first month after the trial period.
Is it, do you know how much it is a month? 30?
Mm,
I can't remember. I don't know if you pay, I don't know if they prorate per month or you pay just a little bit less if you do the annual. I just did the annual.
remember the annual was about $400. It's
Yes.
four. Here it
Okay.
is. It's $420 a year.
And then you can claim it.
That's
Yeah,
what I
Taxes.
thought about it.
exactly.
By the way, they also have like insanely amount of uh podcasts or video casts that they do on YouTube like every week. So
Yeah, it's every Thursday, I believe.
they're very active.
Train you?
Training and talking about updates, upcoming stuff, that they're implementing. They're very, like I said, they're very proactive.
Nice.
Who is
It-
that has the trainings on YouTube?
But just the CRM turn travel. If
Oh,
you
okay.
guys,
So you can go and check them out on what they're forecasting. They're doing their product features and all that stuff. But if you want actual training, you gotta have an account with them.
they have their own Facebook page, as well, and all that stuff for users. I did put the referral link in chat if anybody's interested in checking them out. But
Yeah,
again,
I just,
I don't want to discount, the other things that are out there. This is just what I use and what Raphael is using now. You may be able to get like Travefy or whatever. Like I said, I can't remember what's discounted through Travel Network.
Johnny, I think it was Travelify and I believe it was 25% off.
Right. So they're
From
all
Travel Leader.
similar. They're all similar. So I do recommend that you check them all out.
mhm.
I with Turn, it was my first one I tried, and I started putting some trips in there, and for me it just really clicked, and I really loved what I was doing, so I didn't even check out anything else.
Cause I'm more in like, because obviously I'm only 2 weeks in and I wanted to do like mock quotes and play around with something instead of having to actually set
Right.
something,
One of the biggest questions we get, especially on Facebook, is how do I put together a quote? And the way I had to do it before is I actually had to write it out. This does everything for you.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like I said, when you email them, they'll see that page with all the pictures and stuff. They can see everything that's you've thrown in there, and then it will say pricing. They could check what the pricing and the breakdown is as well.
And when you submitted like the cruise information in the flight, those pictures are what they put in, or did you have to submit those photos?
So the crew stuff is automatic, that automatically pops up. Flight information, what I do is I have pictures for the different airlines, and then they have a very comprehensive picture library. And I actually use that. Like if I'm flying somebody on American Airlines, I just type in their pictures, American Airlines, and pictures of American Airlines jets pop up. And I'll throw that picture in there. So as they're going down, it's just not, there's a picture associated with the flight.
Okay.
It just makes it more visually appealing.
No, yeah, absolutely. I just was making sure.
All right, Hannah's asking for where the logo is, and that's an agent access. So as you come down to forms, I believe, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. Here's your business card requirements, and then you click on that and it pulls up the PDF or the PNG for the logo that you can save.
Thank you. Do we need to add the other stuff like the address and all of that, like what's there on the bottom left corner?
These are the
in
two
this?
things that you need to include right here.
Okay.
The
Even if we're not in
California,
the States, correct?
yes,
Okay.
that is mandatory. If you don't include that stuff and something happens, you will not be covered through insurance. Don't ask me why. I have no idea what the legality of it all is. I just know it's mandatory that you need to have that in there.
Okay. And that's like email correspondence on our quotes, our proposals, all of that.
Yeah, and I put it, as long as it's there and somebody can see it, it doesn't matter what the size is. I can show you guys like my website. I have it down in the bottom of my website. Again, as long as it's there, it's not an issue. So this is my website, and I have it all the way down here at the bottom of the page. Right there.
Was it easy to do the GoDaddy website?
Yes, it's very easy. It's a lot of it's plug and play. Chat GPT was my best friend. Like all these
Right?
descriptions here. I have a little about section. Again, I'm not very creative when I start talking about myself, so everything's in here. What I like about is like you can put your Instagram page in here and it will automatically update. And then reviews. Here's some of the reviews I have on Facebook.
Nice.
I wish it would do Google reviews because I have more Google reviews than I do on Facebook, but
Hey, Johnny.
And you have,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I forgot what I was going to ask. I'm sorry. Oh man. Oh, for the Chat GTP. For the Oh Lord, I forgot. For the go ahead. Let me think about what I was trying to say. I'm sorry.
it's okay, Vicky.
I think I forgot myself.
Well, if you guys think about it, we still have time.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who gets memories fogged.
Struggle's real.
It's still the
Yeah,
beginning of the week, right?
I'm at that age. I forget.
29, Vicky, and we're only 29.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, speaking of ChatGPT, for the terms and condition, is it a good idea to let ChatGPT write it out, or we got to do like you said? You done went ahead and went to other sites and done
I
that.
would not let Chat GPT write it out because Chat GPT is not going to know everything that a travel agent needs to have in there.
Okay.
Like I said, I did some research. I found some terms and conditions on some other travel agency websites, and then I kind of blended it together to fit what I needed. Um, and it really wasn't a whole lot I changed, but there are certain things that you need to include, especially when it comes to what was it called? Cashbacks, not cashbacks. It's where
Chargeback?
chargebacks. Yeah, I have some conditions in there about chargebacks. Chargebacks is when somebody books with you and then files a claim with their credit card company that they never, made that charge. I have some legalese in there that says that they are responsible for legal fees if they do that without notifying me. So that's another thing that I like about Turn is not only when you authorize your payments, you have to agree with my terms, but all my proposals always also have my terms and conditions in them as well. And I also have in there pricing and availability, a little disclaimer on that, that from the time that I put the proposal together, that pricing and availability can change without notice. That way people can't get too upset. And I actually had that happen to me. Um, being a firefighter, I was quoting somebody for a sandals trip. I quoted them airfare at like 5 o'clock. I went on a quick call at the firehouse, came back, called them back, went to book airfare, and it went up $200 within that hour. So that's out of my control. I apologized that I wasn't available. Luckily, it was a friend of mine, and they're like, "Well, it is what it is. What can we do?" But and that's going to happen because we're not always going to be available right away. But you can quote somebody one thing, and then literally minutes later, it can change.
So are we allowed to read your terms and conditions?
Yeah.
I'll be quite honest, Johnny. I did that with yours and another person who I like how their business is set up, and did basically a mosh. Of course, changing it to my business name. So it's exactly what I did.
So where was our terms and conditions pretty close
Oh
together?
yeah, you're yeah. No one should be using ChatGPT.
Yeah. So I just threw my website into chat. And I can go back there. I believe my terms and conditions are on there.
I mean, I essentially went through what you kind of book and what you're servicing, and I said that's sort of close to where I want to be. So it was very
eh,
easy to look at
yeah,
your terms
so
and conditions.
if you go down to the bottom of my webpage, there's a link for the terms and conditions. And so you could just look through them.
Awesome.
So
And does it matter by state?
if what?
Does it matter by state? Because I'm in
I
New
don't
York.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Again, go through the Travel Leaders Network training for wave makers. Like I said, there's a section in there on legal stuff. There's a lot of
Okay.
good information in there.
I think in New York, you might want to double check the insurance travel stuff that you put in there.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
they,
you keep and I don't know if you know this, Kristen, in New York, you cannot sell travel insurance.
Huh.
So you don't have access to Allianz or Chubb. What you can
Are you
do,
sure?
I'm positive. Uh, California, I think it's California and New York have rules against selling insurance. Um, you can sell travel protection through a supplier, but you cannot provide travel insurance through like Allianz and Chubb.
Okay.
In order to do that, you must be licensed, have a physical office. There's a whole can of worms. And
Oh,
I
I don't
know,
want that.
yeah, and I know in the travel industry, they're trying to get that changed.
and I believe Allianz in their training, they pretty much go over those state that have been problematic.
Are you saying New York is problematic? No.
Problematic and trying to conform with what the whole rest of the country is doing.
It is, and I actually went over this in my Allianz training, talking about New York and I believe it was California. you have to, and you know, people have said, well, why doesn't Cornerstone register with New York? Because Cornerstone actually has to have a physical office in New York to sell the insurance and have somebody that's licensed and all this stuff. It's a huge pain in the ass,
Gotcha.
to be blunt.
But I can then do it like through like for obviously cruises and I can put the insurance through
Yes,
travel
and
protection through them.
you have to call it travel protection. You can't call it insurance.
Yes, I did learn that the other day on the
Ag- Again, that's a New York thing. So yeah, the way to get around it is you sell the protection that's offered through the suppliers.
okay.
Is that for Texas too? Or just
No,
New York? Okay.
it might not even be California. I think it's something obscure like Washington or something
Yeah, I
crazy
was
like
thinking
that.
probably Washington.
It's
Let's see if,
Hawaii, I believe. I was just doing
Oh,
that
Hawaii,
looking at that
yeah.
today.
oh,
Forgot about Hawaii.
yeah, that's right. It is Hawaii. I'm gonna pull up my presentation because I know that I threw it in there.
But I did change all my verbiage on any of those terms and conditions and all that stuff to say travel protection now instead of insurance.
Well, like I said, you don't really have to worry about it too much through um, being in Illinois and stuff. But yeah, I definitely I tell people travel protection because I want to sell them that they are protecting themselves in case anything unforeseeable happens. Okay, I didn't have it in my presentation. I just talked about it in my notes.
Does that mean that when the suppliers that we did sign up for, like Price Agency and all the other ones, does that mean that we can't offer them travel protection? We have to go through a alliance, like you said.
No, the thing with New York and Hawaii is you can't offer insurance. Anybody else can. And you can do it any way you want. You can do it through the supplier, you can do it through third parties like Allianz and Chubb.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks, we got about 12 minutes left in this session, so throw some more questions out there.
What do you usually send your clients, like as far as travel insurance information? Do you have do they have comparison sheets that you can print off or email out to clients that show the different plans and their coverage?
Yep, let me get back into Agent Max. So, in I believe it's mm, trying to remember where it's at. Um, it's in the resource center here. Yeah, order brochures. So here's a little training on their brochures, and then when you're in the travel portal, come down here to order brochures, and this is going to send you. You're not really ordering brochures. They're going to send you a PDF, and let me show you what it comes out to be. It's going to ask you like what insurance plan you want a PDF of. So this is the classic plan. So I send this to clients when I'm offering insurance, and I can do this again right through with Turn. Turn has a insurance module when I send them a quote for insurance. they can pull this up and see what the coverages are. The other thing I really like about Allianz is when you do a quote, let me see if I can pull up a saved quote here. I'm gonna pull one that I did for myself. It will, you can tell it to email them a quote. And then it will give them different options for the different coverages and outline what their different options are. And they can actually purchase the insurance right through your quote. And then you'll get an email saying that your client purchased travel insurance. So like I can go in here and edit this and put different products that I want included in the quote. You guys will have to play around with it other than me just doing a whole quote here. But whatever options you choose, whether it's the annual plan or you do the classic or the premier plan, they will get that and it'll break it down as far as what the different coverages are.
Okay, thank you.
And that webinar that I did should be the replay should be in April. Can look in the training calendar myself. I just don't remember what the date was off the top of my head. It's actually May 14th that I did it. So in that training, I go over things a little bit more comprehensively. Like I said, I was gone for the last 2.5 weeks, so I'm a little rusty getting back into the swing of things. We got about 5 minutes left. So what else you guys got?
Okay, I got something.
Okay,
I was thinking about what I'm gonna say, and I had wrote it down this time. Okay, for the agent access. Okay, where is it when it says change your email, right? Once you change the email, do I need to call the suppliers that I sign up with to let them know that I changed the email, or just for Cornerstone for y'all?
You will have to go into each supplier and change your email. Some of them allow you to do it right on their website, and some you'll probably have to call.
Okay. That's it.
If you want everything to be changed over to your new email.
Okay, thank you so much.
So Rebecca's asking, booking with Snaps Cruise Line. I'm not sure what you mean, Snaps Cruise Line. Are you talking about Travel Leaders Network Cruise Complete?
Yes.
Can you still have your clients use Princess Air? That's a good question. I don't know. And is there a reason that you are booking through Cruise Complete and not through Princess?
Looking at the different prices, now I was just being a new agent, I was just curious.
So there are some agents that absolutely love using Cruise Complete. I use Cruise Complete as a resource. I'll go on Cruise Complete. look up what cruises are available for a certain time period. Like I have a client right now wants a cruise for April or May next year. So I put in those dates, popped up bunch of cruises. I chose the 4 cheapest cruises, and I'm gonna work off of that. Cruise Complete is a third party. I prefer working directly with the cruise line. So I will look at Cruise Complete, see what's available. And then I will usually book using the cruise line itself. Now I know for sure that you can use Princess Air through there. I'm gonna imagine that when you do book through Cruise Complete, your client can go on there on Princess's website once they have a booking and book through Princess Air, but you may have to call Cruise Complete and ask them about that, if you want to use Cruise Complete, because I'm not sure. Don't remember ever seeing a air module within Cruise Complete.
Thank you. I was just curious. I'm experimenting because my mom wants to go on an Alaska cruise through Princess. I was just trying to figure it out. I like working through Princess. I got approved for Snap, so I was playing around with that today, and it's just a question. It's like, oh, I wonder if I could do this.
It's definitely a good question.
So,
But like I said, I prefer working directly with the cruise line because, again, Cruise Complete is a third party, and sometimes the prices are better on there. And in that case, you might want to book with them, but then if you need stuff like air and stuff, and to be honest, I don't use the cruise line's air programs very often because, again, that's another third party that you have to deal with. And then sometimes the prices aren't that much better than you can find, booking airfare yourself. So it all depends on really what the client wants.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, folks. In a half hour, we're going to be doing the Price Agency's Wave Makers training. If you want to hop on that, we'd be happy to see you. I absolutely love price agencies. I've spent a great amount of time in these Q&As going over some of the advantages of price agencies. I do recommend that you attend if you can tonight. If not, watch the replay. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I really love doing these questions and answer sessions because not only am I able to help you guys out, but sometimes you really challenge me and get me thinking about stuff as well. So I appreciate you guys taking the time, and we'll see you in a half hour.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks,
All
Johnny.
right.
Thank you,
Nice to see
Johnny.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.